Welcome to Fantasia, home of the melodious. My name is Azallea, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys an update to my Lunalight deck. Now, without further ado, let's just get right into it. First of all, we're running 3 copies of Lunalight White Rabbit. Now, White Rabbit, when she's normal summon, can bring back another Lunalight monster from your graveyard. She also acts as a giant Trunade, so you can target spawn trap cards your opponent controls up to the number of other Lunalight cards that you control and return them to the hand. So she basically clears the way for all of our future plays. Next off, we're running 3 copies of Lunalight Black Sheep. Now, Black Sheep is an absolute must in this deck at 3. So you discard her and to add Polymerization from your deck to your hand, which is really crucial for the deck. You can also discard her to add 1 Lunalight monster from your graveyard to your hand, but that doesn't happen nearly as much as the first effect. Now, her other effect is when she's used as a fusion material for a fusion summon, you can add 1 Lunalight monster from your graveyard or your extra deck back to your hand. And for most of my combos, I tend to either add Blue Cats or Lunalight Tigers. But of course, for your initial summon with the combo of White Rabbit and Black Sheep, you're probably going to add White Rabbit back to your hand. Okay, so next off, we're running 1 copy of Lunalight Purple Butterfly. Since this is an Ionized variant of the deck, Purple Butterfly is absolutely necessary because of all the weird scales that we have. Next off, we were running 3 copies of Lunalight Blue Cat. Now, Blue Cat is the floater of the deck, and when she's destroyed by battle or by card effect, you can summon another Lunalight monster from your deck. There's a cool little loop with her and Tiger, so if Blue Cat gets destroyed, you can summon a Tiger from your deck. If Tiger gets destroyed, you can summon a Blue Cat back from your graveyard. So instead of just going cat into cat into cat, you can go cat into Tiger into cat, and then into cat and into cat. Oh boy, that was a mouthful. Okay, anyway, she is really good for floating and for stalling if we tend to brick. But she's also very good for her second effect, which enables all of our OTKs. She can target another Lunalight card, monster that we control, and double its original attack. So it can double Cat Dancer, Panther Dancer, or Leo Dancer and make them huge to go for massive amounts of damage. Okay, so next off, we were running 3 copies of Lunalight Tiger that I was talking about earlier with the loops that you can do to stall. Lunalight Tiger is amazing. Her Pendulum effect is that you can target 1 Lunalight monster in your graveyard and special summon it. And her monster effect is that if this card is destroyed by battle or by card effect, you can target 1 Lunalight monster in your graveyard and special summon it. So Lunalight Tiger in conjunction with like Skyris and stuff can help enable a lot of plays. Especially XYZ ones with Blue Cat. So the last Lunalight monster we run is 1 copy of Lunalight Wolf. She's basically a miracle fusion for the deck for her Pendulum effect, and for her monster effect, she allows herself to inflict piercing damage to your opponent, which is pretty good. If you double it with Blue Cat, it becomes 4,000, so it's not that bad overall. To have just that 1. I only play 1 because we can search it pretty easily, actually, with all the new additional support that Lunalights have gotten in the form of Perfume. Anyway, moving on, rest of the monsters, we have 2 copies of Ionized Pendulum Dragon. Ionized Pendulum Dragon allows us to search for our Lunalight Tigers, and Tiger is an essential combo piece, so getting to her as soon as possible helps us establish a lot of our combo plays. Next off, we run 2 copies of Performapal Ionized Unicorn. This is a scale 8 and is searchable by Skyris, so we run this to be able to Pendulum summon Ionized Pendulum Dragon from the extra deck and go for rank 7 plays. Next off, we're running, for the last 2 monsters, 2 copies of Maxi. Now, Maxi is just there as a deterrent to special summons, and we like going second. This deck really likes going second, and I'll recommend going second whenever you can. At least this build is centered around that. So having Maxi when you're going second really just helps slow down your opponent's game state, and then they might make smaller fields than they're supposed to, or they don't want to give you too many cards. If they give you too many cards, you just OTK, but and if they don't give you too many cards, they're going to have a smaller field, which is going to be easier for you to deal with. So that is it for all of the monsters. Next off, we're going to go into the spell cards. So we run 3 copies of Fire Formation Tenki, and Fire Formation Tenki is essential for the deck because it searches out all of our Lunalights. Next off, we're running 2 copies of Polymerization because It's the main card that brings out all of our extra deck monsters, and 1 copy of Fusion Substitute. Fusion Substitute also counts as a polymerization, so you cannot run more than 3 between the 2 of them. In order to recover our polymerizations, we run 2 copies of Fusion Recovery. It also allows you to bring back a fusion material monster used for a fusion summon as well. So there is that, and it is very, 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 very good as a late game top deck. It allows you to get 2 cards for the price of 1, and allows you to go straight back into the game and conduct another fusion summon. So to top off the fusion line of spells, we run 1 copy of Fusion Tag. Not really a huge fan of this card, but it's in testing, and I kind of liked it. With this Fusion Tag and Black Sheep and White Rabbit, you can bring out a Panther Dancer immediately, which actually kind of stole games here and there at times. So I kind of like it at 1. Wouldn't really run more than 1, but that's just my opinion on that card. Anyway, moving on with the Sky Iris engine, we run 2 copies of Sky Iris, which allows you to pop the cards that you have to search an Ionized card from your deck. So normally you're going to be popping Blue Cat on your field, or you're going to be popping a Lunalight Tiger in your Pendulum scale. And if you pop a Lunalight Tiger in your Pendulum scale, you can add Ionized Pendulum Dragon. And if you scale Ionized Pendulum Dragon during the end phase, you can add another Lunalight Tiger back to your hand from your deck. So this loop of Tiger into Ionized Pendulum Dragon is very, very good, but it requires Sky Iris to do so. Next off, we run 2 copies of Terraforming to search out the Sky Iris. I find the ratio of 2 to 2 to be perfectly fine. I really wouldn't run more than 2 of either of those, because if you open double Sky Iris, you can only use its effect once per turn, so you essentially have a dead card in your hand. Okay, so next off, we're running 2 copies of Lunalight Perfume, which is a monster reborn for the deck and also a searcher for the deck. So you can target 1 Lunalight monster in your graveyard, special summon it. Normally going to be Blue Cat, so you can double something's attack. And the second effect is you can banish this card from your graveyard, discard 1 card, and add 1 Lunalight monster from your deck to your hand. This is the way we can search out Lunalight Wolf. We can search out Purple Butterflies if we need to boost attack even more. This is just an amazing card overall. You can use both effects in the same turn, by the way, so if you Monster Reborn a Blue Cat, you can still banish it, discard a card, and search something else, and continue your play strings from there. Next off, we're running 2 copies of Mythical Space Typhoon. Changed this up from last time. I didn't really like the discard of Twin Twisters, and I think Mythical Space Typhoon's good enough. Most decks usually just rely on a field spell or 2, or maybe have like 1 or 2 back row that are like Solemn Strikes. So if you can deal with those, then it's perfectly fine. Having it in the main deck's also really good, just in case, because you're always going second, so you kind of want to have something to deal with anti-spell fragrance and stuff if people are main decking those. Okay, so moving on, we have 1 copy of Upstart Goblin for the draws and deck thinning. We play 1 copy of Ionized Fusion. Ionized Fusion, you can search this with Sky Iris, and basically what it does is you can fusion summon 1 dragon-type fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or your side of the field as fusion materials. However, if your opponent controls 2 or more monsters, and you control no monsters, you can also use up to 2 Ionized monsters from your extra deck as fusion material for the summon. You can only activate 1 per turn, but that doesn't really matter because we only play 1. So basically, since you're going second, if your opponent goes first and they have a pretty big field, you can activate Ionized Fusion to get Ionized Vortex Dragon out, and that will either bait negations and stuff. Ionized Vortex Dragon would hopefully have negations of its own to use, and it's just really, really powerful overall. Definitely recommend running it. Vortex Dragon helps a lot in terms of protecting your field, causing disruption, bouncing back your opponent's stuff as well. And to cap off the spell cards, we run 1 copy of Raigeki. And as always, we're not running any trap cards anymore, just because this deck is focused on going second. You don't really want to draw into your traps. I took out the Solemn Warning and the Solemn Scolding for that reason. Don't play any Dark Laws anymore, so you don't see Mass Change 2s, because going second is much more important than going first and having a Dark Law and a Solemn set. I believe, just to end games faster and to have additional combo pieces to work with. So yeah, that's it for the main deck. So next off, we're going to go into the side deck. So for the side deck, we are running 2 copies of DD Crow. Now, during either player's turn, you can discard this card to target 1 card in your opponent's graveyard and banish it. So this is really good against things like Meta Foe's Fusion before they can shuffle it back and get a draw. Most people only run 1 copy anyway. You can use this to hit Pantheism, to hit Seer, Malabranch of the Burning Abyss. You can use this to hit multiple Blue Eyes cards, including Return the Dragon Lords, whatever they're trying to get back with Return the Dragon Lords or Silver's Cry. You could also use it to banish the Ancient Stones, so they can't summon a Blue Eyes during the end phase as well. Okay, so next off we are running 2 copies of Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. Ghost Ogre is a very powerful card and just allows us to destroy cards on the field that activate, so things like DD contract spells. You can blow up a lot of pendulum scales like Meta Foes when they try to pop something else. It's just a very versatile card overall, very good against Blue Eyes as well when they try to use Azure Eyes or anything of that sort. Next off, we're running 2 copies of Flying Sea. This is just to stop people from going into XYZ plays and such. Really good against Burning Abyss. Also decent against Pendulum decks that like to go into rank 4s. Last for our monsters, we are running 3 copies of Kumongous, the Sticky String Kaiju. Kumongous is absolutely amazing in this deck and has extra synergy than one might think originally. So Kumongous allows you to tribute your opponent's monster special summon to their side of the field. 2400 attack is really easy for all of our fusion monsters to run over, and it's level 7, so it prevents your opponent's Blue Eyes players from going into XYZ plays. But also, it's a level 7 because you can use it as well. Not only can you special summon to your side of the field if you manage to, if your opponent also has a Kaiju, you can Pendulum summon it because it's a level 7, and we have scales up to 8. So you can go into rank 7 plays with this as well if you can't seem to find any other way to use it. Okay, moving on, we have 1 copy of Dark Hole, just to clear field since we like to go second. We play 2 copies of Twin Twisters against very back row heavy decks. And we play 2 copies of Grisile Prison, which we're almost always going to be controlling a fusion monster, so it locks our opponents out of XYZ and Synchro plays, negates their effects, and doesn't let them attack. So locks out things like Burning Abyss and a bunch of other extra deck reliant decks for 2 whole turns, because it lasts until the end phase of your opponent's next turn. Okay. And last but not least, we run 1 copy of Vanity's Emptiness because it is very powerful when you have this and an established field. This is normally, you're normally going to sign the trap cards if you know that your opponent's probably going to make you go first. It happens sometimes when you OTK them game 1. They're like, oh, well, I don't want them to have turn 2 going into game 2, so you'll side in some of your traps then. So that is it for the side deck. Next off, we're going to go into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we are running 1 copy of Sky Cavalry Centauria. Sky Cavalry can be made with White Rabbit and Black Sheep, and it is also very good in that it cannot be destroyed by battle if it has XYZ materials. When it battles an opponent's monster and is not destroyed by battle, you can detach 1 material from this card and return that opponent's monster back to the hand. So it gets over things that cannot be targeted, destroyed, and all that good stuff. Chaos Max. Anyway, so moving on, we are playing 1 copy of Abyss Dweller. Stops the graveyard effects, and is very good for when we're attacking into things like Cosmos ships and stuff. Prevents them from floating, just to stop them from getting annoying. We play 1 copy of Castel, the Skyblaster Musketeer, for removal. We play 1 copy of the MVP of the extra deck, Brotherhood the Fire Fist, Tiger King. So when this card is XYZ summoned, you get to set a Fire Formation spell from your straight from your deck. So it's normally going to be setting Tenki, and then you can activate it immediately for the search. You can also detach 1 XYZ material from this card to negate the effects of all other face-up cards, monsters on the field that are not Beast Warrior types. So this either base negation or you get to just stop everything's effects on the field. So it's very, very powerful in that regard. For our last rank 4, we play number 39 Utopia, which comes with the number S39 Utopia, the Lightning, to run over any big threats that we might not want to deal with otherwise. And to cap off some of the extra deck monsters, we go into the rank 7s. We play number 11, Big Eye, which is a very, very MVP in clutch. If you've watched my previous duel videos where I took, I believe, an Ignister and then started using his effect, went off that way and completely destroyed a DDD player. Big Eye is absolutely necessary. Little changes from here on out. We're playing 1 copy of Ionized Absolute Dragon. You can still make this card with 2 level 7 monsters, so Cat Dancer, Ionized, Kumongous even. And you can negate the attack if an opponent's monster or your monster declares an attack. Detach 1 XYZ material to do that, and then you can revive an Ionized monster from your extra deck. Also, if this monster is destroyed by battle or by card effect, you can special summon an Ionized monster straight from your extra deck, which is really, really nice because of the following cards. Well, we were playing 1 copy of Ionized Rebellion Dragon. Ionized Rebellion Dragon is really just used for fodder for the fusion summon of Ionized Vortex Dragon, which is right here. But anyway, basically, Ionized Fusion can send both Ionized Rebellion and Ionized Absolute Dragon from your extra deck straight to the graveyard, and this allows you to summon Ionized Vortex Dragon, because Ionized Vortex Dragon requires an Ionized monster and a Pendulum monster, which is satisfied through Absolute being an Ionized monster and Ionized Rebellion Dragon being a Pendulum monster. So those are the reasons for those 2 being there. You can always summon Absolute Dragon with level 7s. You can also summon, if you really wanted to, you can summon Rebellion Dragon with 2 Ionized monsters, because it requires 2 level 7 dragons, but that's rarely ever going to happen. Okay, so next off for the fusions, we play 1 copy of Ionized Vortex Dragon. Of course, you all know this was coming. So when this card is special summoned, you can target 1 face-up attack position monster that your opponent controls and return it to the hand. And during either player's turn, when a spell card or trap card or another monster's effect is activated, you can shuffle 1 face-up Pendulum monster in your extra deck back to the deck, negate the activation, and destroy it. And so basically Ionized Vortex Dragon is really good protection for when you're going for future plays, or to prevent your opponent from negating your plays as you're going for like game. Okay, so for the last few cards of the extra deck, we are playing 2 copies of Lunalight Cat Dancer. Cat Dancer is the first stage of our fusions, and she cannot be destroyed by battle. Next off, we're playing 2 copies of Lunalight Panther Dancer. She is the second stage of the fusions. She cannot be destroyed by card effects. This is basically the main boss monster of your deck. Although people keep thinking that Lunalight Leo Dancer, which is the last card of the extra deck, she cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects, and she can attack twice during each battle phase. But Panther Dancer, you can activate her effect to attack every single monster that your opponent controls twice each. And boosted with Blue Cat, it usually spells game over for your opponent. So there's that. That is it for the extra deck, and that is it for the deck profile. So thank you all so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it or found it helpful, please leave a like. Subscribe for more Lunalight content, and leave a comment down below letting me know what I can do to improve. And until next time, take care.